Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Sean.
And you're listening to the Dead Baby Bear podcast.
Dead Baby Bear. Long story.
It's the Dead Baby Bear podcast brought to you by the Northern Queen.
Edibles.
Formerly K4. They pulled the plug.
They pulled the plug
They
real
did.
fast.
That's the worst part about having a podcast is like losing advertisers, right?
That
when
is
they're
true.
like, you were worth nothing to me, goodbye. No added value, goodbye.
I don't even, I feel like most of our advertisers are just people that want to help us. Not that they are getting much. Although, I'm sure Northern Queen has gotten a few out of me and stuff, so I don't feel like we've totally been, totally not valuable for them.
So wait, what were you saying about Brittany Campbell?
Brittany Campbell, she's a comic she's from PEI, and then she was in Edmonton for a while. But anyway, so I went out to the East Coast, and she was like, when I first was out there, she was like, what do I do to get more time? And I was like, book a tour and I'll let you open for me. And she did. She booked a whole tour. She opened for me. It was great. That's what I tell all comics. I'm like, if there's a comic that wants
That's what I tell everybody.
But Sean,
why don't you book me up?
But Sean, and honestly, if somebody wants to go on the road with me, book a tour and I'll go.
Absolutely,
you can open for me.
That's what I like about you is you're open, because most people would say we should, and then never do it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody says we should work together. We should.
Yeah,
and then
I know.
you leave and it doesn't happen. But at least you're honest enough to be like, listen,
If you book it,
this is
I will
probably
come.
how this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Is if you book it. I'm not booking it.
Well, that's what everyone. When I first
You book
started,
it.
Exactly, I'm not doing it. But when I first started comedy, I'm like, how do I get more spots? And then someone's like, start an open mic, haha. And then I started Blue Chicago, and it was shit. But it kind of started, it started. Then we started getting more rooms.
It started a chain reaction of you doing comedy in rooms that then
the bar would shut down.
Yeah.
Every single room. Oh my God, even Empress. And I didn't even really start Empress. I was just there when it started. I kind of they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said I don't want to do a weekly room, but I know Claire is really great and she would do it. So anyway, but that's fucking funny because now Empress is closed. Oh my God, don't ever have me start an open mic in your business. It will close.
No, it just sort of tells you the nature of the bar industry, right? Where they're like, we're dying here.
Yeah.
We're fucking dying, Frank. We got no money. What should we do? I don't know. Hail Mary comedy night.
Because
it wasn't like Blue Chicago was ripping the world on fire.
Oh
and then
God,
you did comedy. It was going out of business.
Well, it was owned by I think, I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure it was owned by some rich kids. Their parents bought it for them, and then it turned out just to be a free place for all the kids in Crestwood to go and drink and so
that has to be that's we always bitch about rich people, but that has to be the worst part of being rich. Is your children
are mooching off you
who don't have the skills that normal people grow up with. Normal people have this scar tissue that pushes them to success in industry or whatever. It's
probably even more frustrating for a self-made rich person, someone who was poor and then got money,
and then
you have kids who are well, I don't do that. You're you will fucking.
Well, yeah, and they have this weird sense that everything pays off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Dad, he just started fucking leasing Bobcats.
That's all he did.
So.
Yeah.
I guess you just start something and you're rich.
I guess, Dad, if you give me $1 million, I'll start my business. We'll see if it works.
So it's all these rich dudes who are made their money as tax lawyers, as leasing farm equipment, real world, just real shit.
Yeah.
That they had to muck around in, and then their kids are I'm gonna open a bar.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna open a bar.
Exactly.
I want to open a fucking restaurant. And the dads have, or moms, whoever's rich has to be you don't fucking just open a goddamn restaurant, And then at some point it's somebody else steps in and goes, "Come on, your dad helped you, So you're God damn it, I'm putting 100 G's on Blue Chicago.
I'm putting it on blue and it's gonna land on red.
I have to drop $100,000." To get some new floors in Blue Chicago. So my son can run a restaurant into the fucking ground.
So Parker can open a bar.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I have friends that open restaurants, and some have been very successful, but most are not. But I think the biggest problem was if you are a social person and you open a restaurant or a bar, you then now have to convince your friends that they have to pay for stuff. Because sometimes, my friend that owned the one restaurant, he was people would come in and like the girl he was with that he owned it with, she would just like give free booze out, blah, 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 and he'd be like, we need to make money. Like, you need to actually tell your friends.
Yeah, but these are our friends.
Yeah, but your friends have to, so they should pay. They should automatically pay.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I've never.
As soon as you buy the vodka, you start to care who drinks it.
Absolutely.
You know, like that. As soon as you bought it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Is like, I bought this box of rum. I'm bringing it in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And then some girl is going like that, like pouring it,
loosely
pouring it into 7 glasses, and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, that's like even like for the wedding that we're having. It's not going to be an open bar because that's too fucking expensive. But it's like $5 drinks.
Closed bar.
So it's like the drinks are $7. We pay $2 per drink.
Why don't you guys do it like dry grad?
Yeah, no one's allowed to drink?
Where you have 2 weddings, one's dry and
yeah.
one's soaked.
Oh, fuck that, no.
One is soaked.
One is soaked. They're both going to be
soaked
soaked.
wedding, and the other one's dry as a bone.
They both have to be
just
soaked.
Like, everybody's just eating shit.
Talking
about love.
Kathleen and Adam are the soaker couple.
Yeah,
we got to have
a
everything
bit of a
soaked.
Super soaker.
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
going to
are
be a
gonna
super
wet.
soaker.
It's going to be like crazy weird.
Weird?
Yeah, like I think you guys are just, because Adam's going to be cooking and hammered.
Yeah.
Like he's
like
gonna
that's
be
nothing new.
Hammered and cooking.
That's nothing new. He's been like blackout drunk and he's made me a great steak.
Yeah, but now he's making like, well, did that bitch? Did she put steak or chicken on her form? He's got to go through all these check marks and be like, how many chickens do we need? I know. Of course he does. Why not? He'll cook for everybody. It is like a great way of being able to cut your interaction short.
Yeah, actually,
right.
that
So
was one of the reasons why he said it.
Probably why
too.
I would do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I can't really cook.
I got to work.
But I got to, I wouldn't mind like, oh, fuck, there's that person from somebody else's family that I don't want to talk to. I'm going to really drill down on this chicken.
We're so busy right now.
I can't talk right now. But then if a friend comes by, you're like, oh, fuck it. Like, I'll just leave that on for 30 minutes. It's got to go 30 minutes on either side.
It's a good way to avoid people. It's the most annoying
who you want
part.
to talk to. It allows you to choose your own adventure.
I haven't even got for like those RSVP cards. I know I said I don't need them back till August 30th, but that was a mistake. I also said that the wedding starts at 6, but the ceremony's at 6. So I'm like an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an idiot. I'm so dumb. But I've only gotten
you're like the opposite of Bridezilla.
I don't know what I'm doing and I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm not even really involved.
I don't really want any control. If I had more money, I would pay for a planner. I might even look into that.
Yeah, because they send out the right times and everything.
Well, they do. Well, for the one, we do have a planner where she just runs the day. Because I don't want to do any of that shit. I don't. No. But I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm such an idiot. I'm doing, like, I don't know. I just made a lot of mistakes. So hard.
Yeah, you're going to show up in a fucking black dress with a veil and be like,
oh my God.
They did the wrong one.
I bought a veil. I'm embarrassed to say how much it was. Like, I'll tell you off air, but I was horrified. And I'm like,
I'm not going to care then.
No, but I don't want to tell everybody. I don't want everyone to think I'm an idiot. Because I feel like an idiot. But I'm going to start a veil making business.
Everybody says that when they buy an overpriced
something. I guess so.
Every time you buy an overpriced anything, you're like, fuck, I'm going to start making pots. Because I just bought a pot.
I'm going to start dealing coke.
I was looking for a cheap pot. Basically what it comes down to is people, they want something, right? They're like, I need a shelving unit back inside my house.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look for some. And then they're like, $280 fucking dollars. And then they look for a cheaper one and it's all like $280 plus. And then they're like, fuck, I'm going to start making fucking
But the thing is,
shelving units.
How hard is it to make a vase? This is the thing I don't get. Like, I want to know how much work goes into it. Because I understand paying for people's time and work. Like, I bought these earrings from this girl on Instagram, and she's native, and I paid, like, I think they were, like, $80 for them. But, like, these are really time-consuming to make.
Actually, I think that's the only context in which you're allowed to still use the word native.
Oh, we can't use native?
No,
Aboriginal?
that's gauche.
Oh, God, I don't know.
But I think you're allowed to say it when you bought something off of one of them. I think when you engage them in business and they were the winner.
So we're supposed to say Aboriginal now?
Yeah,
for
Aboriginal
sure?
or First Nations
or Indigenous. Oh, okay, First Nations. I'm an asshole. I don't know.
But no, you can go down. You can go back to the 90s if you're buying shit off of them.
Yeah.
For sure you can.
Yeah, I guess.
But next time you bring it up, if you didn't buy something off of them, then you would have to go with Aboriginal or First Nations.
It's so
complicated. It is complicated. Business is complicated.
I saw a video of this guy who so he was wearing a tank top, and on the tank top there was a picture of the Imperial Japanese flag, And then people started commenting, like, that's a really shitty thing to have on you. And he said, I had no idea. I took the shirt. I threw it out. I apologized to anybody, blah, blah. And then this one girl kept hammering at him and kept making videos about him and stuff. And he goes, I acknowledged what I did. I acknowledged that it was wrong. And I got rid of it. I don't know what else you want me to do. But he's like, now I feel like, because he's a creator. So, but I think it's like anybody that puts any kind of art or anything out there. He's like, I don't know. I'm so afraid of, like, everything now. I'm so afraid I'm going to offend someone. And I don't know, like, are we allowed to call it orange juice anymore? Or does it have to be citrus squeeze? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what we can do anymore. So I think a lot of people are feeling that way. And, like, even comedians. But John Doerr was here this weekend. And he did not give a fuck. And it was so fun.
Yeah?
His sets were so good. He did a set where... I don't want to, like, I'm not going to, that's another thing I have to tell you off because I don't think it should be spread, but it was like something that happened to him that is 100% true, and he's working through it in his mind, but he did it on stage, and that was like one of those sets where you like watch a comedian and you're like, these people don't even know how crazy this set is, like how good it is and how like personal it is, like they don't even know what they're really witnessing right now because they don't know what
well,
he's
and that's
saying
also
is true.
Sort of like the genius of John Doerr, right? Is like he'll slip real things in.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do I believe, right? Because like everything is sort of like absurdist, misdirection, but then some really real stuff.
Totally.
And then he'll just drop it in. And they're like, wait a minute, that seemed real.
Yeah.
But then the other one seemed real too.
It was...
Because he's also so good at selling the misdirection.
Oh, yeah,
like, most people could
never
get away with what he does.
No,
because I would do it once. I would do like one misdirection, like, and then I had to leave the Chinese food restaurant or whatever, like, and the crowd would be like, oh, and then I would do one more, and they'd be like, yeah,
we got it.
You go, you're on the bus, so it's weird that you're masturbating. Like, holy fuck, dude, say something real. But John would just, like, he'll commit. He
commits like no other comic I've seen. The only other comic I think that I've seen that commits so hard to his bits is Andrew Iwanic. That he does not, like, leave his... What he wants to do is what's going to happen, whether the crowd fucking hates it or loves it. He's just going to keep doing it. And, that's, like, the same thing with John Doerr. He was so great. He was at the festival this weekend. Chris Locke was there. Chris Locke was so fucking funny. Oh, he's so silly and weird. At like this one point, he like looked at his phone. He's like, "Oh, my wife's texting me," and he turns around, starts texting her, and goes, "Hey, bitch, I'm in Edmonton." Like he was just so funny. But he's another comic that is very like in his head about everything. Like after every show, he was like, "Is that okay? Was that okay? I think they hated me," and I'm like, "No, like."
Yeah. Well, I just had to listen to like because Jim and Will recorded an album, like
EP
tracks, whatever the fuck. And I had to listen to it before we submitted it. And it was just awful. Like, oh my god, because it just gives you a glimpse into the audience's world.
Yeah.
Like I don't usually live in audience world. I live in like I'm on stage, and what's wrong with these fucking dolts?
But you have to be able to, this is the thing I said to Chris, it's like you have to be able to once in a while admit that you're really talented and funny. And you have to do the same thing. Because you're always like, I'm garbage, I'm shit, everyone hates me.
No, you got to listen to this first. You have to listen to these tracks first.
Well, Jim said it was good.
Jim is, he's got skin in the game.
Jim is a liar, though. But he's got skin in the game. He's not going to be like, if it was shit, he's not going to be like, oh, let's send this to Sirius.
They did try to renegotiate their 20% up to 50. Because initially it was 20, and then they were like, after hearing these tracks, we might have to go with a higher price point. And so we're negotiating, but... No,
you and Chris Locke both have to get better at, like, once in a while admitting... You don't even have to admit it out loud, but just admit it in your head so that you're not always like, I'm terrible.
I can't, because I don't believe that.
I know.
I listened to these tracks, and I was like, you sound like a fucking...
Well, don't listen to yourself. That's the biggest mistake. Like, and I know you have to listen to yourself.
He might lose his edge if he starts to like himself.
Might. No, I don't even need him to like himself. I just want every once in a while for you to be like, hey, I had a good set.
Because I wanted to do a segment, and this is good because
it's exhausting cheerleading for you. Don't make me do this, but it was kind of exhausting cheerleading Chris along because he kept on being like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's sort of like when a guy has $1 million and you have 500,000, and they're like,
Yeah.
I don't feel rich, and you're like, you're rich.
Yeah, like you
And then
don't sit
eventually they're
around.
like, listen, you're fucking have more money than I do.
Like you don't sit around and ask me, was it good? Am I good? Am I? Because you don't think you're good enough. You don't have to ask
I don't
anybody.
need to ask.
Yeah. But like once in a while, you have to admit
But
you have
Chris
to have
is
some
just-
sort
Chris
of
is-
ego in this. You have to have a little bit of ego. I mean,
It's mostly crazy people because there's not because I brought some notes today because I wanted to talk about how you could if people want to become a comedian.
Yeah.
There's like because it's sort of like when Penn and Teller tells people about magic and
Yeah.
stuff. This is sort of like because Dave Chappelle is the funniest comedian in the world, but he's not the funniest person in the world.
yeah,
Right? There's probably like 1,000 humans funnier
are
than
funnier,
him.
yeah. He's
But they're
just
like
really good at-
fucking accountants in
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur or whatever. They don't need to fucking get up there and talk.
yeah. Kuala Lumpur
They're-
is very funny people.
Yeah, they're very funny.
They're known for their
Or some-
humor.
Yeah, some lady, a homemaker in Fiji is probably the funniest human alive.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like need to get up there and be like, look
Yeah.
at me. So, but if anybody wanted to be a comedian, there's a lot of tricks, right?
Yeah.
It's like a big card game up there. It's not hard.
Yeah.
So I have like cheat sheets for comedians. So the non-comedians that want to get into comedy, there's like a bunch of tricks. I got like 3 tricks that you can do to be a comedian like overnight,
Yeah.
right? So number 1 is relationship comedy.
Oh, everyone loves a good relationship joke.
Right. So
Everyone can relate except for single people.
yeah, and then even they're like sort of like, oh yeah, I fucked a guy a couple times
Yeah.
once, and
I
know
get
what it's
it.
like. Yeah, I get
it, even though I don't feel it.
Yeah, so if you want to do relationship comedy, you basically have to, as a male performer, you have to write a joke about how dumb you are.
Yeah.
Because the crux of a relationship joke is like just a 5-second misogynist take on something.
Yeah.
That's old school misogyny, but you can't just do that joke because that's rude.
Yeah.
So you have to like write a joke before it that is like about how dumb you are and how great your wife or girlfriend is.
Yeah, like the Jim Gaffigan. My wife writes all my material for me. She does. But anyway.
Does she?
Not all. She writes all. His partner, or his writing partner. He said it before.
That is a weird thing to admit, isn't it?
I don't know.
I've never.
At least he admits it.
Yeah, at least he puts it out there.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go that far. All you have to do is just write a joke about how dumb you are and how great your wife is.
Yeah.
And then do the misogyny at the end. So you just think of like a misogynist joke, and then you talk about how dumb you are before it.
Yeah.
So
To soften the blow.
to soften it, right?
Yeah.
And so I have an example.
Okay, I love
wrote
this.
it.
You're doing like a workshop right
This
now.
is good. Yeah, no, I think this is going to work.
Sean's
I can
workshop.
do. These are just 3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the example is my wife. I tell you, I love the lady to death. Oh man, without her around.
Did you type "aw man"?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
type
darn
that.
it. I wish you
I
did.
just added that. in.
Okay.
Without her around our house, it would just be me and the kids looking at each other like, "What do we do now? What happened to the lady who knew what time everything was?" She's great, and I'm so dumb. I can't even eat food properly. I just throw things at my mouth like a spider monkey. So now I've established that she's awesome,
Yeah.
and I'm a fucking idiot. And now you can just go right into the misogyny.
So what's the misogyny?
It's right here.
Okay, let me hear it.
Anyway.
Hit me with the misogyny.
Anyway, the other day, my gorgeous and brave wife,
Stop! Oh God.
she comes home, and she's not a car person. That's fair to say. She says her car's running funny and asks where the dipstick is. You want to know where the dipstick is for the car you've driven 9 years? I'd skip the check level part and go right to add oil. Put in a bunch. Right? And then so that's it, right? So that's just a template of like how you do that.
Yeah.
That's easy. Relationship comedy. If you're a woman, all you do is you lose the I'm dumb part.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anybody. And then go to small penis, or I'm not going to fuck you,
Yeah.
desperate loser kind of stuff. Like somebody tried to fuck me and I said, that kind of thing. And then a small penis reference to go with it. So it's really easy to switch it for a girl.
It's so easy.
And then the other one is nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like, I do a lot of nostalgia stuff.
Yeah, like stories from your past and like, or
Well-
just like stories of how it used to be? Or things
Yeah,
that
it's
you
like
used to
how
do?
things used to be
Yeah.
and how things are,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's a big one. And all you have to do is everything that's modern is safer and less exciting, right? So all you do is you go back and say, when we were kids, we had this other thing that was more dangerous, but we ended up better for it.
Dottie,
Right?
don't eat the pot plant.
Is Dottie eating
Yeah,
marijuana?
Dottie!
She's into, let her get into edibles.
No!
It's medicine.
No! Okay, sorry.
Okay,
My
so
dogs
that's
are being
this.
bad.
So then I have. So here's an example of nostalgia.
Okay.
This is a nostalgia joke. These kids today, I'm telling you, they're gonna grow up thinking the world is easy because their parks are filled with wood chips and foam. Ours had hard-packed sand and 50-foot-high metal rockets you could climb. If you slipped, you hit every aluminum branch on the way down. Half the time you go to the park and there'd be a kid laying on the ground knocked out from a fall and you'd snap your fingers and he'd run home. So that's how you do it.
Okay.
Right?
This
Old
isn't your
things.
best work.
No, I'm not, but these are just templates.
Okay, templates. Okay.
These aren't even jokes. These
Okay.
are templates for people to
Ideas,
say
yeah,
like,
okay.
oh, okay, that's
I
how you do it.
understand, okay.
Because when I'm learning things online, they're like, here's how you write a resume. And I'm like, give me the fucking template.
Give me the...
Show me what I can plug my words into. Right? So
Yeah.
and then nostalgia's not easy because you have to be older.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I think when I was 25 and I tried to do nostalgia comedy, I would just be like, you lucky fucks.
Yeah.
Playing your Mario 3. When I was a kid, we were playing Mario's 1 and 2. So that's not enough time to have passed, right?
Yeah.
But it works good now because we're old.
Yeah, we're old now.
So we can do like, remember what phones used to be?
Maybe that's why, like, you have to be older to get really, really great. Well, I mean, it just takes a long time to get really great at comedy, but, like, most, like, comics will start peaking in their late 30s, early 40s.
Sure. Keep saying
Not
that.
us.
Keep saying that.
Not us. We're going to be 50s or 60s.
It's like smokers that are like, well, George Burns didn't die till he was 95. Well, there was one old person who did well once.
Yeah. But I mean, like, most in your 30s, that's like, there's not like, I mean, there's a few comics in their 20s that are like just kind of, but I think like you have to have life experience.
A little bit,
some of
yeah.
this
You've got to
stuff.
relate to the highest number of people, and usually you can only do that when you're like, 35, 40, because you're right in the middle. And now a younger demographic might be interested, and an older demographic might be interested. It's harder when you're like 22 to really engage everybody, because anybody over 30 is going to be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
One time I went to a pool party and the water was colder. You're like, this fucking kid. Like, we don't care about younger people problems.
Well, that's why people used to always say, like, don't do airline jokes because, like, most people don't fly all the time. Like back when they were popular, you know? Because, like,
they fly enough. Yeah, they know about the cookie. They know about, everybody knows about the cookie and the small seat.
Nowadays.
And you can only
But
lean back a
before-
16th of an inch.
Before, not many people flew that often before, I don't think.
No.
Like,
It's just hard to bring up airplanes because people instinctively know, like, oh, this is, like, probably old school comedy.
Yeah.
Because what hasn't been done when it comes to, like, planes is, like, maybe there's not enough crashing material.
Yeah.
You know? But everything else has been covered.
There's not enough
The food's all...
we need more airline crash jokes.
Man, have you guys ever been on one of these planes that hands out these little cookies and then you fucking fall out of the sky?
Have you ever been on a plane and been like, how is this happening? Like, you know, I am sometimes on a plane, especially if I've had an edible, and I'm like, how are we still in the air? This is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird because you're like, this should be way louder. Shouldn't it?
Be louder.
Like going up in like in the sky should be louder.
I still don't understand
than
how
this.
airplanes work.
Why is it so quiet? It should be way louder. It should be way harder to do this than it is. It just seems like you kind of get up and up you go.
Exactly.
Now you're in the clouds and you're really trusting other people at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird when people say, like, I have trust issues. Like, you're on a plane. You've been on a plane? That's a massive leap of trust.
Yeah.
You trust WestJet enough to hire the right person to be in the right seat at the right time and not fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like, what would you trust? What else would you trust WestJet with? Nothing.
Not much, but I do trust them with my life.
Yeah. For some reason, I trust WestJet with my life, but
Yeah.
if they send me an email about a deal, I'm like, fuck you, you scam artist.
Artist.
Cocksucker. Fucking charging me for an extra bag.
What kind of, like, advice would you give to comedians that is not, like, comedy-wise? Like, that's more like behavior-wise, like how to be cool when you start. Like, when I started, I got, like, have a car. That's the one thing I cannot believe how many comics do not drive. Like, I cannot believe that now. Like, because when I started, they were like, oh, like, if you have a car, you will work more. And I did. Like, I had a car. Headliners be like, yeah, if you have a car, I'll work with you.
But if you're a younger comedian, you're like, what do I need a car for? To drive from my phone to my tablet and make another TikTok video? Like, why do I need a fucking car to go to Grand Prairie with you?
I guess
like,
nobody's going on the road
fucking
anymore.
The problem with like TikToks and stuff is like, it's weird because you'd think you're on one level, you're like fucking, fame is fame, or like notoriety is notoriety, or like, but that's where social media can kind of skew things, where you're like, wow, look at how many followers they have on this platform or that platform. But then it's like, well, what if we put all your followers into a gymnasium and made them have a buffet and you could just hang out with them? Yeah. You might be like, Jesus Christ, why do I care about the number of followers I have? Look at them eating hot dogs. Yeah. Look at these lunatics. Yeah. They're all children. Half of them are fucking children. There's 98 bots. A couple of old people.
That'd be hilarious if all of your followers were put into one room. Like, that'd be hilarious.
And you can just watch them eat hot dogs.
Oh my God, that'd be horrifying.
And talk to each other at tables. And you walk around, and then you walk in and do a little speech like, hey, it's Kathleen, everybody.
Well, it's famous so weird nowadays because it's just so common now. Like, it's weird. It's like everybody like is famous now. Like, everybody knows somebody that has quite a few followers on TikTok, and then they're getting free stuff. They're getting money from the creator account if they have enough. Like, everybody knows somebody, but then you're like I don't know. Like, cool. It's kind of cool, but it's also like
it's nice seeing people make money, right?
It's nice seeing people make money.
Astronauts. The trickle down.
Yeah.
The trickle down. The day the
too.
Trickle down blasted off.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing. Is like just watching these like fucking guys, just the trickle down works. So what you do is you give rich people a lot of money, and then they start to hire more people, and more people in their downstream start to have more money, and they buy cars.
Right.
And in 5, 4, 3, and then they're off into fucking space. Like, no, they went the other way. They actually did go the other way with it.
Yeah, they just wasted money instead.
They just went to fucking space.
Yeah.
To do nothing. They're not setting up like a medical center up there.
No, they're not
just
doing
floating
anything.
Around.
They're just shoving in the face of Amazon employees like, no, you don't get a raise because Jeff had to go to space.
Jeff's in space. Yeah,
Jeff's in space.
Being in a hospital room as an Amazon employee on an IV drip for a surgery you're not sure you can afford.
Yeah.
But you're running it through your mom's credit card, and you're just watching your boss blast off into fucking zero gravity. You're like, that's interesting. This is fascinating.
I wonder when...
I need $900 or I might die. And this guy's fucking floating around the stars.
I know I've always said this, but I feel like there will be at some point, maybe not in our lifetime, but there will be like a rebellion against rich. Like, people will start killing them.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's happened forever. There's always been like revolutions, and it never redistributes the wealth.
Yeah.
It just makes like rich people go, all right, so Jim can't be the face of this now.
Yeah.
Jim's poison.
Or maybe we'll be a little bit more quiet. Yeah, but I think we're at a point where people...
Jim's got to move. Yeah, so you just take the people, so like the Jeff Bezos and the Zuckerbergs and those people, like they just all of a sudden, okay, people seem to be rebelling big time against you guys. We'll just pull Bill Gates back, like pull these guys back and put in a new set of faces and eyes and make it more progressive looking, and then people will go, oh, okay, like I guess the world's moving in the right direction, but the money stays in the same hands. Yeah. The money doesn't move. It's just the faces that we see on television change.
My least favorite thing is anything where someone is like unpacking something, like unboxing videos or anything, or I spent $200,000, let's look at everything. It's just like, you're literally, even if it's just to like, look at all the clothes I just bought, you're literally like, look how much extra money I have, blah, blah, blah. It's just so gross watching people unbox stuff. And kids, that's the dumbest thing. Like, they have families. We've talked about YouTube families before and how like disgusting they are, and how it's like, we go into Walmart and like, we're going to blindfold you and you got to pick out this much shit and blah, 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 and then we're going to explode. Like, I just find it so gross to watch people shop. People film themselves shopping, and then they're like, look how much stuff I got. I just shop and hide it somewhere. Or wear it when eventually. But it's just like, I don't like watching.
I don't understand how people can even buy clothing online. It's
like,
I
do sometimes.
How can, like, every shirt I put on is, if I take it out of a cardboard box and put it on, I'm like, what country is this double XL
Yeah,
in?
That's true. They do have
What country did...
size charts, though.
Yeah. Oh, you can do size charts?
Yeah, like there's like those, so like there's that one size Shein or whatever, and it's just like things are like $5, but you do have to like look at every single thing you're buying and look at your measurements and if you fit. Because, like, in one thing, I'll be, like, a large, and another thing, I'll be, like, a 4X. It's, like, very weird.
It's all over the place.
Online shopping is, like, it's the smartest thing for retailers, honestly, because they, like, if I go shopping in a store, I go and try on a few things. I'm like, oh, I don't like this thing. I don't like this thing. So now instead of 8 pieces of clothing, I'm buying 2 because I tried them on and I like 2. Mm-hmm. But when you online shop, you're like, I like this, I like this, I like this, and you buy it all, and you're like, I'll just return it if I don't like it, and then
the reason online, obviously it's massively popular. What part of the reason is we made all the brick and mortar stuff like such a high pressure sales pitch.
Yeah.
Like, so we just made employees say, like, oh, do you have your so-and-so card? Would you be interested in so-and-so card? And, like, everything was push the product, get them into that change room. Like, I took my dad to the audiologist, and this poor chick, she just, like, memorized the parts of the middle ear and took a 2-year course at NAIT, and she's an audiologist, thinking, like, oh, my job is going to be, like, helping people who are, hearing impaired, be in the right product or whatever, have the right hearing aids or whatever. And then they get to their job and realize, like, oh, the whole thing is all sales. My job is sales. Like, basically everybody's like, hey, listen, everybody who comes in here is fucking deaf. Mm-hmm. Nobody comes into, like, the audiologist and they hear well.
Yeah.
They're all fucked. So so everybody you test is just going to fail. You're going to fucking run them through they're going to sit in the little booth, and then the button's going to turn red.
Yeah.
Like, deaf. This person's fucked. So your whole job is just to sell everything. So, like, we're sitting there like, oh, yeah, we just want a 2-week free trial. That's what they had told us we could get. And she's like, well, I would just hate for you to miss out on this deal that we have. And I said right to her face, I'm like, I am so sorry that the people who own Connect Hearing are making you do this. Like, I'm very sorry that that's a part of your job.
Yeah.
But we just want the 2-week free trial. And I totally understand that this is your task, essentially, is to, like, get us in the most expensive hearing aids possible because it's the only one that gives you a kickback or whatever.
Yeah.
So you get $50 to sell those hearing aids, and you get jack shit to sell the ones my dad is ultimately going to buy. But let's just fucking move this forward,
Yeah. It's
but
like,
yeah, it was just, and that's what every store you go to now is like.
Everything is sales.
Everybody's just trying to sell you something so hard.
Even when I went to
eventually people are like, fuck it, I just want to do it online.
I even went to, like, a chiropractor
online.
place, and they were, like, upselling, trying to get this. Like, they send you a free, you get 1 free visit, and then they tell you everything that's wrong with you, and then you keep going. It's like, it is sales. Everything's sales.
Yeah.
I remember, I've done sales before, and it's not fun. You end up feeling like a disgusting human. Well, I did. But I remember going with my mom to buy a couch at the Brick, and this guy, like, you could tell, we got, like, what's the name of the guy in The Simpsons that's the worst salesman ever? Gil, it's good old Gil. Anyway, we got one of those guys, and you could tell he had to make his quota for something. Oh, he had to make something, and my mom's just evil. She just kept on being like, this is fun, watch all this. He's gonna offer us Scotch guarding, and, like, he comes back and he goes, okay, so you guys, I'm going to offer you some Scotch guarding. And my mom's like, okay. And she's like, no, I don't want it. And he goes, let me go talk to my manager. And my mom's like, okay, now he's going to come back and say I can do it for 50% off. He goes, hey, so we can do it for 50% off. And my mom just burst out laughing. And then he's like, what? And my mom's like, I don't want Scotch guarding. And stop trying to upsell me. Just give me the fucking couch. But, like, it's so sad when you see, like, a salesperson that you know is desperate to make a sale. Because you can tell when someone is desperate to make a sale, and it's kind of like,
yeah, men are usually better at, like, leaving their morals at the door and just, like, letting money, like, so as you get into sales and then you start making money, as soon as you start making money, you're like, well, who cares about the morality of it? I'm in West Palm Beach.
That's not just a male thing, like,
no, I know, but, like, in general, men are better at being like, well, the money says that this is great. I don't care that I'm getting, like, who cares?
Sales money is great. If you're good at sales, and it, like, when it starts to roll in, you're just like, more, give me. That's the problem with sales. It's just like, you just want more and more and more. But I don't know. Now you're marrying a chef. September 25th. How
many people are invited?
Well, I haven't even looked at those numbers, but I think I'm allowed to have like 75 in there, and I don't know. I keep on. Adam and I are the worst. We're very social, and especially for this one, it's like it's smaller, but we keep going, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'm like, how are we gonna invite these people? We're not gonna be able. Like,
yeah, you guys are in that, like, when you're going to Walmart and you're like going through that little maze to get to the self checkout.
Yeah, we're bad.
You're in that part of it.
Oh, and we always grab jujubes on the way out.
Grab it.
Oh, absolutely. We can't. We're both grabbers. Like in that winner's line, we're like, oh, look, we need a spatula. Like, oh, that's us. We keep grabbing people though.
Grabbing people instead of spatulas.
Yeah.
But that's the point of the wedding you're at.
It sucks so much because, like, I mean, I can't invite everybody in the world, and it's just like, but then people are like, blatantly like asking
we were in grade
out
4
loud
art together.
I feel awkward when someone's like, I better be invited, and I'm like,
people do that?
Yes.
I better be invited.
Yes.
Like,
I
what
was
kind
like,
of
well,
brain throws that out there?
I don't know, a weird one. I was like,
most other brains are like, I don't think I was invited, and then they like get sad about it.
Yeah,
but
and I don't want to.
I love that confidence to be like, I better be invited.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking like, well, you're not. I feel bad now. I feel worse, but I'm like, I can't. You're just like, you're not on the list of people that. Like, I'm not going to invite people just to invite them.
I mean, I would like you to focus more on the people that are just quietly sad they're not invited. Rather than the one lady who's like, I better be fucking invited. Be there. I don't want that bitch there. You know what I mean?
No.
But the quietly sad, the people who are like, just like, oh, I don't think I got anything.
And for this thing, we have to have a guest that's like, no one is allowed to get in without being on this list. So I'm like, I can't just be like, just come down. I have to...
Really? Okay. That's bizarre, isn't it?
Well, I think it's just to keep it under control.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a huge venue. It's like an old log cabin. Like, it's very... But yeah, I think that if you like... And when I turned 18, my mom let me have a keg party, and we rented the community hall across from our house.
Oh my God.
And my mom's like, just invite, like, you know, and I was like flyering at my high school. I was just like, blue, 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 and like... People, it was packed in there. My mom was like, oh my God, we're gonna get sued, something's gonna happen, we're gonna get sued by someone's parent for killing their kid. But yeah, like
nothing happened.
But I'm so bad at like not inviting. Like I'm just like, yeah, bring everybody.
Of course, yeah, it's impossible to be like, no, no,
yeah,
sorry.
But
it's like when somebody waits 3 hours in a line to get on a kayak at Lake Louise, and then right before they get there, it's like, I'm sorry, but this is all we're doing for today, and you're like, I've been waiting for fucking, you know.
Yeah.
You can't be that person who like puts the rope over and goes,
no,
sorry, we're
sorry,
closed.
You can't.
Sorry, Kathleen's ride is closed.
Oh,
I know you guys have been waiting here at Disney World for 4 hours, but it's closing time. You can't do that. You got to let everybody in, and then they come and they're not on the guest list. Like, that's what you do. That's what a nice
just have them
does.
show up and they're not on the guest list, and then they leave. That's such a bitch move.
No,
oh my God.
You were the person who said come.
But the venue said I couldn't have you.
Make the venue the bad guy.
Whatever.
See, why am I not a wedding planner?
You should be.
Invite everybody, and then have a guy at the door going, I don't see you on here, goodbye.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then like they text you, and then the next day you wake up like, I am fucking furious that the hotel did this. Apparently this happened to over 80 people. I will be having quite a crossword with West Edmonton Mall on Monday morning. And then everybody wins. They feel like they were invited.
Yeah.
They feel like you are on their side, and you're furious that they weren't allowed into the wedding.
Yeah.
You don't have any.
Do you want to be my day of planner and run the show? I think you should run the show.
Yeah, no, it's really smart. These are all good ideas. Should.
Like, I was talking to a friend too, though. Like, I want to be a funeral planner. This is the thing. Not like I don't want to work at a funeral home, but my mom's funeral was so fucking good, and I want to like have funerals. Because I don't want to go to a sad funeral.
Yeah,
like,
I want you to be like, we should make a show that's called Widowzilla.
And just angry widows.
Just widows that are like, why the fuck would you put the casket on the left side of the room?
Why are there crusts on the sandwiches?
Oh my God. Like, who in the fuck is the caterer here? Like, she's just there for a week before, like just going through everything, and like, what's her dress going to be, going for a fitting with her girls. I don't know, hon. That one's a little tight.
It's not black enough.
Little tight for death.
It's not dark enough.
Yeah. tighter than my ex-husband's grip on my life. No, that would be good
I
to have
just
like
think
a
that it'd
Widowzilla.
But it could be. I just think it'd be cool to like start planning for you, because I think like, I don't know, I just must have a better relationship with death than most people, that I've always feel like
you're
it's
okay
just
with it.
Like, you know what? It was that person's time to go. And now, like, we're having this, and we're gonna like celebrate them because we're lucky to have them in our lives.
Yeah,
but,
and
like,
people are like too busy grieving to know that you've made several mistakes.
yeah.
You know, so that's why I'm always attracted to the idea of like working with animals or people that are grieving.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna, they're not gonna fill out a comment card. They're still like, a month later they're gonna be like, I don't remember much about that.
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
I really don't remember much about the day of my mom's funeral or whatever. And I'm like, bingo, that's the industry I need to be in. Is one where like a month later, every client I've ever had is like, I couldn't tell you much about what happened that day.
Yeah.
Because if they could, they'd be like, that guy fucked my dad's funeral up.
But funerals are so. Do you realize how expensive funerals are? Like,
Why would they be
disgusting.
cheap? Why would they be cheap? It's just weird.
Well,
that
my
people
mom's
think,
funeral was not
should be
expensive.
cheap. Like,
not cheap, but they shouldn't. Like, literally, they were like, you're looking at about $15,000.
I know they gouge you.
$15,000.
Yeah, they take advantage of the
No,
grieving process, and people are like left money.
My mom's was about $1,500, and that's
$1,500.
Everything that she would have wanted. It was perfect, and there was no church. There was no like.
Did you have her Scotch guarded?
We did actually,
You should have
and
had
then
her
we
fucking
set her on
Scotch
fire.
guarded.
I should have got her coffin Scotch guarded.
You
That would have
for
pissed
sure.
her off.
She
so
should have
much.
been like, it should have been like laying on like a mountain of carpets, like a Viking funeral.
No, my mom was in a pine box. Like, we were cremating. I don't know, people cremate, but they put them in a coffin first. That's like $5,000. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, we put her in a pine box, and then we all got to write messages on it in Sharpie, and it was actually really, really nice. And then she got cremated. Like, I just, like, the funeral industry is gross because they're taking advantage of people at a horrible time in their life where they don't know how to make a decision, and sometimes you're just so, like, it's, like, I think it was, like, 4 days after my mom died that we were at the funeral home, and I'm like, my mom's dead. What is going on? And then they're like, and would you like this, and then we can do this, and
Yeah, there's still no permanence to being buried either, right? Like people think like, they like the permanence of burial because it's like there's a stone, there's a big thing,
guess.
there's your name. It's like this is me forever, but not really. It's you for 100 years until they dig you up to make room for condos.
Exactly.
Like they're not gonna, like, you're only gonna be there for your maximum span of time in burial mode is 500 years.
Yeah.
And then somebody eventually is going to be like, well, as you know, there are 38 billion humans on the face of the earth, and we can either like go into more animal ecosystems and destroy them, or take every dead person and make condos there.
All this prime. What?
Yeah.
Has there been like cemeteries dug up and like built on?
Wouldn't it be
I
smart
wouldn't want to live
do
above
that?
a cemetery. Have you not seen
But we
Poltergeist?
never. It's funny because we never talk about that, do we? Where we're like, well, how do we get out of these animals' ecosystems? Like,
Yeah.
think about how much land is wasted on our dead, on human dead.
So much.
Imagine if like fucking any other animal did that, where they're like, well, there's fucking 1 million dogs buried.
Yeah, you
up
can't
there.
build
like,
there,
fuck
that's where the
you,
dogs
that's
are
where- I don't
buried.
fucking care if there's.
Yeah.
But humans are like, hey, not only are we going to take up space with our living people,
Yeah.
but everyone who dies gets their own plot of land.
Yeah, I
What
know.
the fuck are you talking about?
That's
There's
crazy.
too many of you to do that shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, I don't want to get
People
buried. I
should
wanna
be cremated
burned.
and then just fucking thrown out of a tin can.
Yeah, I want to get put into a firework.
And then write everybody's name somewhere. Like, if you want some permanence, we'll just have a wall with everybody who's dead.
Yeah, a wall
and
of
then be like, oh, is
remembrance.
this for all the war dead? No, that's everybody.
That's just
That's
everybody.
all of them. That's everybody.
You can find them all.
You just have like a mural where all the dead people are.
Yeah.
And you can like get a ladder and go up and see where your dad, oh, it's my dad.
I honestly do think it's ridiculous to be burying people and like taking up. There is
Doesn't make
all
sense.
these like land that you're just like, I lived by this one.
Or at
in-
least stack them up.
That's what they do in New Orleans. They have like mausoleums, like family mausoleums, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't bury them because it's on a swamp, right? The bodies would just float to the
Right.
top.
Which is still
So
kinda
they have
fun.
these like mausoleums where they're like huge, and like I went on a tour and they said that the bodies, they'll put them in and they'll naturally cremate in there because it gets so hot that they'll just kind of, and then they'll sweep them up, put them in a jar, and put it on a shelf inside the mausoleum.
Ugh.
But that's what.
Yeah.
That sounds like the best thing ever.
Yeah,
like
it's not bad.
instead of like having 20,000.
But you still got your own like family house.
Yeah, but
like
that's a
tiny
lot less
house.
than like 20 people being
Yeah.
buried side by side. This is like 20 people in one.
Yeah, that's
Like
not
that
bad.
sounds, and then you're
That
gonna be with
makes
your
sense.
family. Like that sounds nice
For eternity.
for eternity.
Forever and ever.
Maybe that doesn't sound great.
Maybe a couple hundred years.
Maybe.
Eternity, that's a long time.
That is a very long time. Eternity is too long.
Have you been watching any of the Olympics?
I kind of forgot they were even on.
Oh my god, Maggie.
but-
Kim, do you watch the Olympics? He's into the Olympics.
So-
he probably watches shit like rugby sevens and
I tried. I don't really know.
I like rugby. I'll watch rugby sevens, but I didn't know it was on.
Oh, I'll watch rugby.
Oh, I'll watch rugby.
So
I like
one
I like the little outfits. I like the little outfits that the boys wear. I like the little shorts.
You sexist bitch. They're trying to do a sport.
I know. Have you seen because there's been like a lot of controversy for, I don't know if it's all in the Olympics, but I know like one gymnastics team, the girls wore like a full bodysuit because they're like, we're tired of wearing these little fucking unitards for these perverts watching us do flips in the air. Like, have you seen what girl volleyball wear? They wear like little tiny shorts
and stuff. Yeah,
like
it's
you can
it's kinda
see
stupid.
like. I had a boyfriend that once was obsessed with pictures of volleyball girls. I'm like, you're kind of gross, but
Yeah,
like,
he just likes college-age people with great asses.
and you can see like labias and stuff. Sometimes that stuff is so tight.
Really? Well, you
Yes.
got to be looking for it.
That's why I liked Ghostbusters, ladies Ghostbusters.
Labia is really something you got to be looking for to get to.
Well, I
Through
mean,
pants.
no, not with these volleyball girls.
No. I mean, they should be able to wear whatever the fuck they want, right?
They
should be able to wear what
should
the
be.
guys wear. Like, if you want to wear like short, weird, those Umbro short,
Yeah.
everybody should be able to wear those.
Wear whatever you want. Like, why is there a uniform for women? Men never have a fucking uniform.
Well, men have a uniform too, but they're allowed to wear more.
Yeah.
Like, why can't girls just wear more?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we should make guys play sports in like just a jock strap and see how they feel. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
let's watch. We need to watch your bodies.
Yeah, but then creepy girls like you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm watching all this.
Exactly. It's about time. It's about time we sexualize and objectify men. I love objectifying men. That's one of my favorite pastimes.
Really?
I just love objectifying them,
It's
calling them brave,
gorgeous and slender.
and like just like, or making them feel smarter than they are. I
Yeah.
love acting stupid around guys. 'Cause, oh my god, is it Star Wars or Star Trek that has the lightsaber
You don't even
things?
fucking know.
I love it. I love acting dumb around guys.
Yeah, only nerd guys care about that.
Yeah, but anything, or sports. Then you go on about
Yeah, you
sports.
go sports. Yeah, like what? How long have the Oilers been in Edmonton?
Oh, I love being like, oh my god, he in hockey, he got a touchdown. Like, I just love
Called
it.
a fucking touchdown.
I like their outfits.
I love saying that. That's one of my. I love their outfits. They look so cute.
They're trying to do the game of their lives.
Let's just
you
say I
idiot.
just don't take men seriously at all.
Yeah, I don't like the sports. I don't like are the ones that. For some reason the Chinese are the best at it. Mm-hmm. Is like two people doing something at the same time. Like that's it. That's all. That's
Like
the whole
synchronized
sport.
swimming.
Yeah, or like diving. They're just like two people doing a thing at the same. We're both going to jump off of this and try to land at the same time.
Oh.
And it's like, how's that?
Well,
Shouldn't you guys be like? Shouldn't the only way I'd be interested in that is if it's like aerial combat.
Yeah.
If like they're both jumping and then they have to fucking fight to the water. Or something like that would be a fun Olympic sport.
I
to me.
still want stripping to be in the Olympics. It bothers me that it's not like pole
How can
dancing
it
and
bother
stuff.
you that it's not pole dancing in
Yes.
the Olympics?
Oh, the curling's in the Olympics, Sean.
That's winter.
So
You couldn't do stripping in the winter.
Yeah,
it's
you
too
could.
cold. They'd have to be summer. It's a summer Olympic event.
You're telling me that curling is a sport that like should be getting Olympic gold medals. These overweight white alcoholic men should be getting medals, and strippers who are actually athletic.
You know what would
should
be
not?
interesting is if you made pole dancing like a co-ed sport and women and men could compete against each other and women would win and it would be like this kind of cool thing for girls.
I've seen some guys that
'Cause guys
do pole
can-
dancing and they're really good.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I bet
yeah.
you like, but then you know what? I dare Joe Rogan to start pole dancing, and then every fucking bro in this like, oh yeah, I gotta go to my pole dancing class.
But I do it in a sauna, so I have to wear these gloves. I do it in like sometimes I freeze and do it. Sometimes I freeze pole dance, and then sometimes I like sauna pole dance.
I would love to
But
see
it
more
requires
men.
different hand gear, but it's still pretty sweet.
But it is kind of interesting how every time there's a female-centric sport, men have to be like, well, I think we're gonna start doing it now, like pole dancing and roller derby. Like
Oh, really?
we're like, okay, we'll wear lingerie and we'll skate around, but can we please have a sport? Sure. But now guys want to be involved. Why? Why do men have to be
I
involved?
felt the same way about girls in baseball. And so yeah, I'm with you.
I never hear about girl baseball teams. I always hear about softball teams. I don't know if they're allowed
Yeah.
to play baseball.
Thank God. I think there is, for sure, there's girl baseball.
Yeah.
And I was just joking.
I know you were.
But it seemed fun at the time to do.
I did see that lady from the Philippines win the first gold medal ever for the Philippines in weightlifting.
They hadn't won before?
They'd never went for anything,
And
or
then they
just
win
in
in
that. I don't think they'd ever
Really?
won a gold medal. And this girl, like, she won like in weightlifting. It was really like That's when you like the Olympics. That's when it's like nice and like.
Yeah, when you hear those little stories of
Yeah.
like, oh, that chick from Bermuda won, or
Yeah.
like it's power. Like, I think I figured out how you could be famous and suck anyways.
Yeah.
It's like become like a long cyclist, like a long distance cyclist.
Yeah.
And then fuck it, like when the race starts, just bolt to the front, and then like so you're in front, and
Yeah.
everybody else has to go like 300 kilometers, so they're like taking it easy at the start, but you're not doing any of the. You're doing 1 kilometer, and you're out. So you go fucking full juice, and then the cameras are on you, and they're like, "Oh, it's Sean Lacombe from Canada, originally from Fort Saskatchewan." Like they do your little bio and talk about you, and then just when you start to run out of energy, they're like, "And now we're now we're gonna take you over to some kayaking."
Yeah.
And then boom, they never show that race again. But so all anybody remembers is that Sean Lacombe was at some point in the lead. And then you fucking exit stage right. You don't complete the race. You do 1 kilometer, but you know the guy who won the gold medal gets less publicity because it wasn't on TV anymore. You know, I think these are good ideas that I have.
Yeah. How was the standings for the Olympic medals? Like, how many do we have?
I don't know.
It's all women so far.
Yeah, it's all
Of course
girls.
it is. Of course it is. Because all the pussies came back for more. All the weak men came back for more.
Weak-kneed men that
That's why
survived
men can
war.
never do anything at the Olympics. They're always terrible.
Well, we've had a few good dudes, haven't we, over the years? I think.
Like we had Ross Rebagliati. I can't think.
Rebagliati.
What was the name of the guy that was a
I
really
like how you
fast
only remember the
runner?
guy that smoked weed.
Donovan Bailey.
You remember the one guy who like smoked
Yeah.
weed. You're
Well,
like,
because
the guy who got high.
because that guy's awesome.
What about Ross Rebagliati?
Did that girl that got caught? Did she end up getting to go to the Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But she did have to trim her nails. But other than that, she was let go.
But did she get to go to the Olympics?
Yeah, I think they did let her.
Good,
They
because
did. Yeah, I think they literally. Yeah, it was literally a public pressure campaign where they were like,
course.
"Well, actually, we do look stupid here."
And also, when is marijuana
Weed.
an enhancement? It's not like
No, it's
maybe
a moral.
for snowboarding because you just get in a groove and stuff. But I don't know.
It's a moral play, right? It's
It
a
is.
moral of like, we're clean. Our athletes are clean. They don't do drugs and narcotics,
Whatever.
and it's like fuck off.
That's
These
not
guys
what
get-
I hear.
Yeah, these guys get
I hear
drunk
the
all
Olympic
time.
Village is disgusting, and it's just like an STD
train.
train because they just fuck everybody, all the athletes,
And
all
then you
these.
go back, and then you fuck everybody, and then you go back to the person you first fucked.
Yeah,
And then start again.
and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then everybody gets an STD, and they go home with medals and gonorrhea. Very itchy. I don't like I've been watching some of it.
Yeah.
Canada, like, whenever Canada's losing, I turn it off. I
Yeah.
get so sad for Canadian.
Or whenever America's winning, because I just don't want to see the, we're the great American. Like
Having a rough go.
America's
Yeah.
having a rough go.
Yeah, they're having a tough Olympics.
Really?
Like they're still doing really well.
They're doing
but,
good,
like,
but not that good.
No, they're not winning everything.
That's
like
kind of
they
nice.
usually do.
I think everybody's happy. And isn't Russia not there? Russia was not allowed to go.
Their athletes are there, but they're like they have to wear a uniform that says like Russian Athletic or Russian Olympic Committee or some shit.
Why didn't Russia go?
Well, Russia was like they were kicked out of the Olympics for I think
doping?
I think it was 4 years or maybe even longer than 4 years for a
much
huge
doping.
doping program.
Yeah.
And a huge cheating ring that they were running, and they just always denied. But yeah, so they were going to just say Russia couldn't go altogether, but then some of the athletes were like, "Well, I'm not fucking. You think You think I have lunch with Putin? Like I've never failed a drug test.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, like, I've never failed a drug test, and I've never been to Putin's mansion. Like I don't know what.
Yeah,
the
I
fuck's
hate when
going
a
on.
whole group is punished for the choices of a few. That's
So they're
really
allowed to
annoying.
go. They just can't wear like a Russian flag. They just have to wear like a weird like I'm just Kenny. Well, Kenny just won a medal for Kenny,
I'm just
and now we're going to play the
Vladimir.
Kenny anthem.
Is there anyone named Kenny in Russia? I don't think there's anyone
There's
named.
got to be a couple of Russian Kennys.
You think there's a Kenneth?
And then they just have to like write their own anthem, like "Oh Kenny." They can't play the Russian anthem, so they just have to play like your family anthem.
Did they have like a good opening? Did you watch the opening ceremonies? That's usually supposedly good, but nobody can be there to watch it.
Right? Yeah, it's all just I don't know what they did. I don't really pay attention to that shit. He's our flag bearer. Like
Yeah.
I don't fucking care
Yeah.
who your flag bearer is. Who gives a shit?
How do you
I never
even
watched
watch
the
the
opening or the
Olympics?
closing.
Do you have to have TV or does it stream?
I'm sure it streams, but I just watch.
CBC Gem app is free.
Oh, CBC Gem. Okay.
Yeah, I just watch it. Like CBC has it like fucking all day.
All the day long.
All day, and Sportsnet and all that shit.
247.
It's on all the goddamn time. It never stops. So I've been watching it. It's pretty fun. Like, but if Canada's losing, I stop watching.
Yeah.
And if it's like, I don't know about like, any water polo or water.
So stupid.
What the fuck is that? You're just, that'd be just exhausting. They're just
What about
That
men's
does look
field hockey?
exciting.
men's field hockey.
Ugh.
Have you seen this?
No.
Mad
They're
at
just
male
fucking-
field hockey player?
They
Isn't
just-
it lacrosse,
Yeah,
basically?
they just have like it's like a no, it's
Like
like,
a
they
little
have
stick?
these little stupid sticks. They have like it's like a what are those things? Those Christmas things? Christmas?
Mistletoe?
No, the fucking
Crackers?
Why can't I remember it?
Trees?
Oh, forget it.
Santa
You guys
Claus?
are so stupid for not knowing what I don't know. But yeah, no, they're dumb. Like field hockey is dumb.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch.
For girls or boys or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible for both.
I only knew it as a woman's sport. Though,
Yeah.
Until I grew up.
Till I grew up.
Until I grew up and got older and knew boys could do all the things girls could do.
Whatever. Yeah, water polo looks like horrifying to me. Like yes, let's do cardio somewhere where you can drown. Like, no,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
not to be a goalie. You're just like
Treading
pumping your
water.
legs,
Oh.
staying up, and getting hit in the face with a ball.
Eugene.
A ball hits you in the face.
Yeah.
You're trying desperately to stay up, and then a ball hits you in the face.
Yeah, guys can do that too.
Not as well as girls. Girls can do that, but girls can get hit in the face with balls way better.
Hey, wait though, is there synchronized swimming for men? Like, that's like my favorite.
There is, isn't
that's
there?
my favorite. No, that's
Is there synchronized
that's
swimming?
an SNL sketch. Have you never? Do you know that's? I'm
No.
not a really. You don't. That's like my favorite SNL sketch of all time.
Oh,
It's
really?
Martin Short and Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer, and they're like Christopher Guest and Martin Short are brothers, and they're like synchronized swimmers. They're going to the Olympics, and Martin Short's like, I'm not a strong swimmer. I don't know. It's just like one
I'm
of
not
the
as
best.
strong.
You've never seen that sketch?
No.
I'm sure you have.
I don't
It's
think I have.
legendary. It's really funny.
I've missed out on a lot of legendary stuff.
But yeah, that's one thing. There is no such thing as male synchronized swimming, I don't think.
No,
Not that I'm aware of.
Not really.
there
No.
isn't. It's not in the Olympics.
No.
This is fucking bullshit.
Well, you know what, Sean?
The-
Why
yeah,
don't you
the-
start training?
Well,
You and Jim.
Yeah, all we want to do is synchro.
we just want. We're just a couple of guys that want to do a little synchro and represent our country.
Yeah, but you got to wear a tiny Speedo.
Can't. We're not allowed.
I don't care about a tiny Speedo in that situation
And
because I'm
then wear a
underwater. I'm
nose
mostly
plug.
underwater. And
Okay.
the nose plug.
Yeah.
The nose plug's weird.
Yeah.
We could just do, we're mostly like all underwater.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
even
yeah.
exposing anything.
Yeah.
We would be,
Yeah.
You're breathing
Oh.
Our
underwater.
go-to thing is see how long we can hold our
Hold your
breath.
breath. Yes,
Right.
that's right.
Check
Because
this out.
men always do shit like that. I remember I did CrossFit, and men would always puke. Women would never puke because women knew when to stop, and it was too much. Like I brought a friend once with me, and he came on like a really bad day to come. They were filming something, so it was an extra hard one. And I said, honestly, when it's your first time, like if you start to feel stop. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then at the end of it, he was like sitting there, like at the front door. I was like, are you okay? He goes, no. Oh, no. And I was like, oh, you're going to be okay. Like, it wasn't bad. He's like, no, I'm not okay. And I puke so much. I never see women push themselves that hard that they puke. It's always guys that
I know.
can't.
Well, because we go,
fathom.
sexually we go till we come and then we stop. And like exercise-wise, we go till we puke and then we stop.
Why?
Whereas girls are used to like being like,
Faking
sometimes
it?
you just have sex. Sometimes you just exercise.
Most times
Don't
you.
even finish your workout.
Most
Yeah.
times you don't ever finish your workout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no point
Let's
in
be honest.
faking the end of this workout.
Most times you head to the bathroom after.
Right. So guys are like, you go till you fucking come out of your mouth. That's what
Till
you do.
you mouth ejaculate.
Yeah, that's what exercise is. You keep fucking that bike until you mouth come. So I can totally see why those guys did that.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
that's how we
yeah,
approach
guys
exercise.
just like they can't like imagine not winning something or just like not looking like
The champion
the
and the winner.
champion of the world. I had a CrossFit class. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of girls there to impress. Probably, right? So
Yeah.
he was like, "Look,
Well, I mean, I was
hope
there,
they
so-
I hope they notice that I'm doing 2 extra revolutions per minute."
Yeah, yeah,
That's what he's
and
thinking.
we never do.
And they don't.
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
They're just like, "What the fuck's that guy's problem?"
Puking, though.
Yeah.
they
Oh,
know.
we noticed you
they noticed
puking,
the puke.
and we were like, "Look at this idiot! Didn't know when to stop."
He couldn't even like, oh, I'm gonna puke and then go to the bathroom. He had to like puke right off the.
Like, I think he was like coming to terms with it, and then he really came to terms with it.
Oh, I'm coming to terms with it.
Yeah, I don't understand people that puke in public. Like, don't you get that warning? Don't you get that ding-a-ling-a-ling and you got to get up and go to the bathroom?
Sweat.
I don't know
Cold
if
sweat,
I've ever done
swallowing.
like a full public puke swallowing. That's
Weird. The mouth gets super watery.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the mouth sweats.
Yeah. I can't. Have I ever puked hard in public?
Because it's not like a diarrhea situation where you're like, I think I'm gonna fart and then it's diarrhea. And
Yeah.
you've made a mistake. It's not like that.
I'm
You're
sure
not-
somebody's been like, I think I'm gonna burp.
No,
I'm sure
you
that's
think
happened.
So? Somebody's like, I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
let a big belch go.
I'm sure that's
Oh, wait
happened.
a minute, that was a puke.
I'm
I did not know that was a puke.
positive
I
that's
thought I had a
happened.
belch in there,
I'm
but that was
positive.
actually 2 liters of vomit.
Okay,
I don't
I
know
did.
if anybody's ever done that.
Chris Locke actually this week reminded me that I did puke in public one time. We were on
did
George
you
Street.
really?
We were on George Street, and this like junior hockey team came to the show or something. And
Which one of you wants to fuck?
No,
Blah!
gross. No, I don't
Oh,
know.
no, okay,
I don't
sorry.
fuck hockey players. But no, so we were out and they wanted to screech us in. I've been screeched in 8,000. Every time you go, you
Yeah.
get screeched in.
I need
But-
to get screeched out, motherfucker.
Yeah, it screeched me out. I kind of remember this, that I just grabbed a pint glass and puked. But that's normal on George Street. Like
That
that's
is.
that's
That
just like
happens a
that
lot.
happens on George Street.
Every fourth pint is filled with
It's
vomit.
filled with
on
vomit.
George Street.
Yeah, that's how
They're
you
all
do.
They're all doing
If
music.
you don't vomit into a pint glass, you really didn't do George Street right.
George Street's fun. Yeah, it can be fun.
I've only had fun times on that street.
I think John Doerr. I think I was on George Street once with John Doerr, and then John Doerr took over. Like they were just singing music, and then he was up there. And I was
Oh,
like, holy
really?
shit, what's he doing up
That's
there? And he was like
awesome.
doing music with him or something.
I remember once I went with I did like Newfoundland with Matt Billen and Derek Sagan, and Matt Billen I had to like babysit these two all the way down because they were both starting fights with everybody. Like Matt Billen like said something shitty to this one dude, and then he went to buy him a shot, and then the guy took the shot and threw the shot glass at Matt Billen's back, and then they started fighting. I don't know. It's always a good time though on George Street.
Unless the guys are fighting.
Well, you just break it up. That's the one cool thing about there is like people will fight, then afterwards they'll be like, good game.
And I forgot to do my third. I want to get to this because
Okay.
it's important. This
It's
is an
very
ongoing
important.
series, right? This is like teaching people something.
Okay.
Unlike the rest of our bullshit.
Do you want to do that on this episode or next episode?
No, I'll do. This is the third one.
Okay,
There's
let's
going to
get
be
on the
like
third one.
100.
Okay.
This is crowd work,
Okay, yes.
and I'll do it on you.
Okay.
And this is pretty easy. What you do is you ask the person a series of questions that should be easy to answer, that they should have immediately, like right away.
Yeah.
And you keep asking them those questions until they hesitate to answer, and then you pounce on them
Yeah.
and humiliate them for not knowing the answer to that right away.
Okay.
So it's pretty. So you get to. So pretend you didn't just hear that.
Okay.
You're just a crowd member,
All right.
and I'm just like I'm doing a guest spot.
Okay,
At,
here I am, a crowd member.
I'm doing a guest spot at the. I'm doing a guest spot at the Comedy Factory.
Oh, not this guy again. Every time I come, he's here.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name?
Kathleen.
What do you do?
I'm a waitress.
Oh, how long you been doing that?
Forever.
Can't give me a fucking time frame.
No.
What are you, fucking stupid? You don't even know how long you've been a waitress.
Yes, I'm stupid.
Then that's it.
You've just uncovered some trauma inside of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you just wait for them to give you, like
Yeah.
either a vague answer or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then you just say fuck. Usually it's like a guy will be
When's
like,
your wedding anniversary?
yeah, like,
oh,
how
you
long
don't
you guys
yeah.
been married, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
and they're
you
like,
don't know.
and then you're like, well, you don't even know about it. You know?
Yeah.
So that's really all you really need to do is nail that voice.
Yeah.
Of like, he doesn't even fucking
Yeah.
know. And as soon as you hit that tone,
Yeah.
the crowd's like, he's right. How did the guy not know? But you're just plowing them with questions.
Yeah.
And eventually somebody's gonna like snap and not know right away, and then you just go dive right down their throat. So that's crowd work.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
I like crowd work. Crowd work is fun. I'm trying to remember when I felt comfortable enough that I'm like, okay, I'm doing it and I'm okay at it. I'm trying to think of like when around, like what point.
Usually it's when you stop caring if you have a good set.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I stopped caring whether or not I had a good set, then
Yeah.
crowd work got easy. Because
Yeah.
it's like, this isn't going very well,
Who
but I
cares?
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun, right? It's more fun than, especially if you're emceeing. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to tell jokes. I just want to be like, look at this dummy.
Yeah.
Look at this stupid. Usually there's funny stories in the crowd, right? Something weird is happening.
Yeah.
Some guy's got a weird ass job. or
Once in
some,
a
like-
while it will work out, but then like yeah, but sometimes they don't shut up either.
I
Like,
had somebody that like 2 years ago worked at like a video rental store still or something, and I
Oh
was
my
just like
God.
talked to him for 15 minutes
Yeah.
about like what's that like.
I think those are gonna come back. I think VHS is gonna come back as a nostalgia thing. Because I've been seeing on TikTok, they're like, kids are talking about VHS. I'm like, oh, kids are starting to talk about it.
And that's a perfect nostalgia bit. Like, now you guys just fucking... You got your movies on the cloud.
You don't even have to rewind
your
it.
movies are on the cloud.
Yeah.
We used to have to watch them down here on Earth.
We had to be kind and rewind.
Yeah, if you didn't rewind, you got to charge an extra.
Yeah, did you get a rewinding charge?
I don't think I ever got a rewinding charge, but I was always
late.
Late.
Yeah.
Always late. And of course I never knew until I'm trying to get the next hot release.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that's 9712.
You're
You're like, but I just want to watch Top Gun 2. And they're like, I'm sorry, but everything you've ever returned was late. And you're like, you're like, okay, because back then too, you had like, you always had like 3 stores near you.
Yeah.
So you could be like, oh, you want to charge me late fees, bitch? And then I'm going to go to Movie Matters. I don't need you guys down here at this stink hole.
Yeah.
So you would just like bounce around. But then there would always be that one time where you would go to the 2 that weren't charging you late fees and they didn't have the movie.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck, I have to go to that one that's going to charge me all those late fees. And you just had to fucking man up and do it.
Do you remember when they first came out and you had like, you could go to like the 7-Eleven and they would only have 1 copy. So you would have to just like, please have Ghostbusters, and it would be gone. I've had that rented little, that little smiley face rented thing on it?
Yeah, and you're like, sorry.
And I remember when Blockbuster came and like blew my mind. I'm like, there's 10 copies? 10 copies?
There was almost too many at that point.
But no, it blew
I walked in
my
there and I was like,
fucking
this
mind.
is too many goddamn movies.
I miss Blockbuster. I miss that whole, like, going out, getting a pizza, getting a Blockbuster, coming home. Like, now you don't have to put any effort into anything.
No, you just throw it on.
You just order delivery, it comes to your door, and you just hit.
I guess
I'm feeling really old right now.
We forget about how much exercise we got passively just from living.
Yeah, right?
Right? Like, I got to walk to the thing, and then I got to walk around the movie store, and like, that was all like fucking 2,000 steps, because you're like, well, I got to get something, an old one and a new one.
WALL-E is
going
to happen.
Just sit there.
WALL-E is going to happen. You know WALL-E, that movie WALL-E?
I've heard of it.
Where he's like that little robot, and then he's like a trash compactor, I think, and then he finds this spaceship, and all the people on it are all humans, but they're all morbidly obese, and they all like ride around in chairs, and like things just like a mouth just feeds them, and they just have a screen right in their face. Like, that's gonna happen. That is happening, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I had like a family today at the restaurant, and first of all, fuck these people. They were so annoying. They like came in and they were like, I said, you can't sit on the patio because you can't have kids on the patio because it's licensed out there. And they're like, oh, so like you only have 1 seat. I'm like, yeah. They're like, if another table opens, can we move to it? I'm like, what restaurant have you ever been where you're just like sitting in the middle of your meal like, oh, let's get that table instead? That was really annoying for them. And then they kept on asking questions, and they were like, well, you're giving us a lot of no's and not a lot of yeses. And they're like, do you guys have queso? Do you guys have ground beef? I'm like, this is not Tex-Mex. Like, this is what we have. If you don't like it, just go. Like, I don't understand people who like want us to change to help them.
Yeah, it's annoying when people don't understand what leverage is.
Yeah.
But it's like, listen, you're acting like you have all this leverage.
And you have none. This is not Burger King.
Yeah,
we
don't
don't
fucking
care.
Leave.
They tip 7%.
Excuse me, can we fucking sit over there?
They
like,
tip
are you going to say
7%
no to me again? Because I will take
so awful.
I will take my business elsewhere.
Please do. You're the people that we don't want here. Like, so these kids, but then they had these 2 kids, and the kids were like on their phone the whole time, just watching stuff. I'm like, I get like some screen time is cool, but like that's the only way you can pacify your children. And then this is another dumb parent thing that happened at the restaurant. This couple came in with like a little baby, and I went to drop off their food, and they had a whole Jollibee meal out. And I was like, so I just went, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. So I got my manager, and I'm like, like a from another restaurant, Jollibee.
Oh, okay.
A full meal, like boxes, a bucket of chicken.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But wait, so then they were like, so my manager goes over and she goes, hi, so you can't have outside food you're in a restaurant, like, and she's like, oh, it's for my son. Okay, but, well, if it was baby carrots or Cheerios, that's one thing, but you have a full meal. And then they're like, you can't have that out. And she's like, they got all mad, and then they asked for the boxes to pack up their food, and then she goes over, and the woman is crying because we told her to put her food away. Like, how fucking entitled are you? And it blows my mind when parents think that we have to bend over backwards for them. I'm like, I'm sorry. You had a kid. You knew you wouldn't be able to do everything you used to be able to do. It's the same thing when you get a dog. Like, you can't go out all weekend and not come back. You have to go back every night. Like, like, I'm not bending over backwards because you decided to have a kid.
Yeah,
like,
you fucked a guy.
Don't fucking care. You actually get less than what other people get, because why are you bringing your kid to this restaurant that's basically a bar? Like,
yeah, and any kid that's going to go there is like, it's so spicy.
Yes.
So you're like, well, we're not going to go Mexican. So yeah, when you have a kid, you're like, well, we're not going to go Mexican because they're going to just talk about how fucking spicy everything is. We're not going to go Indian because they're just going to say how fucking spicy everything is.
Yeah.
So we'll just go to Noodle Zone.
We'll go to Boston Pizza. We'll go to
a place with noodles.
But they were like, they left a really bad Google review that's actually quite funny because it's like ridiculous. But
I wasn't even allowed to eat a full meal from another restaurant.
Basically, but they don't say that. They said we just had a little bit of food out for our son to eat, and they told us to put it away so my son couldn't eat, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, did you mention that you had a full bucket of chicken on the table at the Mexican restaurant? Like, oh my god, I just like I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, I do that too. Like, you know, sometimes I'll be somewhere and I'm like, oh, you got to put that away. You know, it's kind of common knowledge that like, I can't be in this guy's house and eating that guy's food, you know.
I've never in my life, like, what world do you live in that you, like, this isn't a food court. You came into a restaurant. You can't just take out whatever you want, like, to take out. I don't know. I'm just getting so sick of humans, I think, working with them still in the public. Like, even today we had all these people get takeout because we didn't have a table when they first came in. But then when they were leaving, the patio was open, so they just went and sat and ate on the patio and left their fucking garbage everywhere and didn't tip and didn't do anything. And I'm just like, I fucking hate humans. Like, humans are, more people should have died in COVID. I'm disappointed that more people survived. I wish it had killed off like 90% of us.
I'm glad you're having a good week. Starting to figure out who you're going to vote for in the upcoming mayoral election.
Oh, yeah.
You sound like a Mike Nickel gal.
Fuck that. Mike Nickel, though, he has on his things like, it's time for you to get ahead. And I just want to go around and like take the A off and say, like, it's time for you to get ahead.
Time for you to get blown.
And I'm like, hey, this guy just wants us all to come, so maybe we should vote for him.
He seems like a good guy.
He's gone to like the ethics committee like a dozen times, and he still is like, no, I'm going to be the mayor. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Local politics is
We
ridiculous.
should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we should. I got a scratchy. Sorry, I just remembered all that shit that I had to deal with today at work, and I'm just like...
It's okay. I don't know if this podcast has enough listeners for this to be considered real therapy.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you gotta talk shit out.
In a therapist's office, there's only one listener.
There's only one listener in a therapist's office.
That's perfect.
Let me listen to you and your thoughts.
Okay, let's see if we won. I got a bigger spin. We could win $1 million. So
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Try to think positive.
Think positive. It's a non-win. Okay. God damn it!
What is the point of being positive?
I know that gambling isn't gonna ever work, but I just wanted to work once.
Gambling has to pay off eventually, said the casino goer.
I don't go to casinos, that's dude.
Those are my favorite dudes when you go into a casino and, and you're just like, that's a type of dude who's just like, I'm gonna be in here a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, is money fun? Like, money is great to have, but it's not. Is it fun to win? Like,
yeah.
It's not fun to lose. I can tell you that. It's really horrible to lose. I don't know.
It's
to me,
horrible
I've always
to
been
lose.
like, it's horrible to lose money. It's fun to win money, but
they just hope that you will always have that feeling of winning inside of you, that you want to feel that feeling again. So you'll pay to feel that feeling again.
One time I won $60,000.
Yeah.
One day it'll happen.
It'll happen again.
Trying to get that big high.
We took John and Chris and Adrian Fish to the strippers when they were here, and Chris was really good at a loony game. But John was not comfortable there at all. Like, he just was like, what? Like, you can't hear anything. Strip clubs are crazy. But it was actually quite entertaining watching him interact with people at the strip club.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be entertaining.
He
to
took
watch
it for
John
the
at
team.
Strip club.
Yeah, he took it for the team. It was pretty funny. My dog is eating ants. What are you doing, Eugene?
That's fair. That's disgusting.
Well, thanks for being my therapy session.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry
Hope
for
you have
blowing
a better
up.
Week. Yeah, so we'll do like those lessons didn't go well, but we'll keep doing it.
Okay.
You know, it's for people that are just like, hey, I want to do comedy, but you don't need to be good at it, right? You can just like literally use this template of like ask somebody questions.
Yeah, Jim, ask around, find out what new comics want to know.
Okay.
Because you see lots of new comics. You go to the mics and stuff more than us. But we
Oh,
should
I'm
go
at them
more.
all the time.
You're at them
always
all the
working on-
time.
I'm always working on new stuff.
You didn't even come to the festival this weekend, you
I
wiener.
know. I was supposed to, and I thought I was gonna go, but that's the other thing about taking ADHD medication is
Yeah.
like I'm doing stuff now.
Are you taking ADHD medication?
Well, just recreationally, but like I'm taking it.
Not
it's like-
prescription.
no, but it's like this is
It
great.
works.
This is awesome.
It works.
But now I'm in the middle of doing stuff,
Oh.
and then I'm like, oh, I'm still painting that, or I'm still doing that, and then I'm like, and then I could. It's like 9, and I'm done, and I'm like,
You missed a fun
I
time.
could go, but I'm just like, fuck.
I got to drive a Lexus the whole weekend. It had air-conditioned
That
seats.
is pretty sweet.
Fuck, it was great. I was so sad. They like, we'll take the keys back. I'm like, I guess.
Why? I want to keep it.
They even have parking for Lexus owners at the airport.
Oh.
Like, I was looking for a spot. I'm like, oh, there's all these spots. I'm never going to find a spot. And then I just pull up in 8 spots. Lexus drivers. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
God.
Fucking rich people.
What an awesome thing to
I know,
have.
right?
Smart by Lexus to
Like,
do
you
that.
still have to pay for parking, but, like, these spots are all open, and they're right at the door.
That's amazing.
They have it, I guess, at every Canadian airport. Anyway,
Well, thanks for listening. Do we have to talk about anything else?
I don't think so. We'll
anybody
we'll
else
think
know?
about it for next week.
Yeah.
This has been, how long? Oh, an hour 15. Oh, my
Holy
God.
Fuck. We got to get an alarm.
No,
We
we're
have to
fine.
get a pod alarm where it just
I'll do this at one.
We're just giving
should.
everyone extra shit. You're welcome. For free. You're welcome. We love doing this.
Not all content is worth listening to,
That's true.
but all right.
All right.
See you later.
Goodbye.